Hi, this is Kevin. Welcome to the tutorial for exercise 2 of the Severance Chapter 14 coding assignment. And in this tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at another program that we've already seen before. Again, with this one, I think I showed this in the tutorial for Zell Chapter 11, but I have updated the program, so I want you to work with the copy that we have here. Here I've got the starter files for this coding assignment, and the starter file that we're interested is this Python program called create state area reports.py. And again, I'm going to recommend that rather than just copying the whole file into your program, that it would be useful to kind of build it a piece at a time like I'm going to do. So because I'm going to do that, I'm going to open it with a text editor that's not PyCharm, because I'm on the Mac and I like Sublime. I'm going to use that. Okay. And the name is create state area reports.py. So I'm going to go over to my tutorial project, and I'm going to create a new Python file, and I'm going to use the same name, create state area reports. I don't have to put the .py on, and that's open here. So let's just get started. Okay, so I'm going to bring over the doc string in the import. Okay. And that says print a report of state area records from a file in two different sort orders. Okay. And it says from my states import state. And okay, I think it's just complaining that we haven't used that import yet. Okay, so let's take a look at the main function for this program. We're going to skip 2 lines before the main. Okay. So we're going to get the data that's in a file. Oh, we don't have the file yet. Let's bring that over. So in the data, okay, from the starter file, we have this state area data.txt. Okay, so let's copy this and let's add it to the data directory of our project. That's a convention we've been using this semester that I think has been working pretty well. Okay. And the only thing that's unusual about these data is, for some reason, I decided to separate the values with semicolons instead of commas. And so when we're splitting the line, we have to remember that we're splitting on a semicolon and not a comma. It'd be more common to do it with a comma. Okay, so in the function getStates, we're going to read that file, and we're going to create an instance of the state class for each line in that file. And we're going to put all those into a list, and we're going to return that from the function, and that list, when we get it back here, we're going to call states. Okay? And we're going to sort and print a report. Sort, report, sort, report. Okay? And so we're going to do a sort, And we say the key is by state name, so that's the name of the function that we're going to use to um, we're going to pass the name of the function to sort. So when it needs to compare a record, it knows it can call by state name. And then in the second one, we're going to sort by total area, and we want it in descending order. So we're going to use the keyword parameter reverse equal true. And we're going to use a common function to print both of the reports. Okay, and they're going to be different in two respects. Number one, they're going to be in different sort orders, naturally. Okay, and number two, they're going to have different titles. The title of the first one is going to be called by state name, and the title of the second one is going to be by descending total area in square miles. Okay, now we're going to need these functions or it's not going to work. So let's go over and get, because we do the sorts before we call the print report, let's bring over those two functions. Okay, so we've got those. Okay, so by state name, it's going to be called by sort, and sort is going to pass it in one of the items from the list, and that's going to be an instance of the state class, which is why we use the parameter name state instance, and we're just going to return the name field from that state instance. And by total area, again, it's going to be passed the state instance, and it's going to calculate total area in square miles in order to use that as the sort criteria. And again, to emphasize, we are simply passing the name of these functions to sort, and sort will call those functions when it sees fit, when it's doing the sorting, and that's that inversion of control, often humorously called the Hollywood principle. Don't call us, we'll call you. Okay, and then finally, we need the function for print report. Okay, and let's just go get that. And that probably hasn't changed at all since the last time you saw this. In fact, most of the code is probably the same. And what's going on here is, we're getting in the list of states, and we're getting in the title, and we print the report titled centered, and each of the columns is 15 spaces wide. The state is justified left, the land area, the water area, and the total area justified right. There are 2 lines of column headings, and then we go around and do, for a state in these states, we do a print, and I think we've shown this a couple times. If you have more than one string of any variety, including F strings, inside of a parenthesis, okay, you can just put them one after the other on lines like this in order to have it be an implicit continuation. And what Python does is it takes this as an implicit concatenation of all these. Okay, and the rule about where you can use it is you can use it anytime these strings are inside parentheses. Okay, and that's how we get the detail line. All right, well, we almost have all the code. We just have to have the call to main. So let's get that. Got the call to main, and that should do it. So do we have all the data that we need? Let's look. Well, we've got state area data.text, but another thing that we're going to want to test with is this empty file.text. And we could create one ourselves, but why do that? Let's copy and paste that into our data subdirectory, and we've got that there. All right, so let's run this first with empty file.text. Something's gone wrong there. Named get states is not defined. Oh, we never did get states. Oh my, I'm so sorry. I'm a little tired this afternoon. Okay. I think we ought to do get states, and that should go right after main since that's the first thing that we call. Okay. So here's our get states. You probably figured this out yourself, right? Before I tried to run it. So what does this do? Well, if we look at this, we're passing nothing in, and we're getting back a list of state objects. So we use the typical thing for getting the name of the file. We prompt for that. The subdirectory name, data, that's given here. We form an in-file path, a name. We do an open. I think this would be a nice opportunity for us to put encoding on it. Encoding equals UTF-8. Okay. Hopefully I'll put that into your starter files before you get it. But if I haven't, please add that there. So then we've got, we create an empty my states list, and then we read the file. So for each line in the in file, we split it and we get back state name, land area as a string, water area as a string, and then we call the state constructor, okay, and we pass in the values that it's expecting. State name's fine, but we need to convert land area as string by calling float because we want to float, and the same for water area as string. And then we're appending this state object to the list my states. So when we've read all of them, then we've constructed all of them and appended them to the list so we can close the file, and then we simply return the list, my states. So I'm sorry I forgot to do that earlier. Let's give that a try again. So, okay, let's try it with empty file.text. And as you can see here, if we don't have any data, we are printing out the headings, but there are no detail lines in each of the reports. And for me, that's a graceful way to say that we have no data. Okay? Yeah, to some other people, somebody else might say, well, I'd like to explicitly say we're not going to generate a report because he didn't give us any data. But I think this says the same thing just as elegantly, and I'm happy with it. Okay. So now let's use the real data, which is in state area data.text. And I had a typo there. So let's try it again. State area data text, and here we go. So the first report is in state name order, starting with Alaska and ending with Wyoming. And the second report is in descending total area of square miles, starting with Alaska. Again, that's just a coincidence, but ending with Oklahoma. Okay, and I just want to point out that these are not all the states. So Oklahoma is not the smallest state in the United States. I believe that's Rhode Island. Okay, I think these are the top 20. All right, and that's pretty much it. Okay, um, in in your um, in your coding assignment, you're going to be creating a different class as part of a different data class as part of exercise one, and you're going to be creating a different report um, program as part of exercise two. Feel free to model your code off of this, and I'm going to leave you here and wish you luck with that, and I'm going to say bye until next time. Bye bye.